Hey guys, so this is going to be my fight kiln guide. So let's go in and get set up. So first things first is your gear. So there's ranges of gear. So either you want tier 90 armor or you're going to want the obsidian armor right here. For amulets, you're going to either want a Blood Fury amulet, Amulet of Souls, or Essence of Finality. Of course, Essence of Finality is going to incur quite a cost to use. For weapons, you're going to want your best weapon. You can get away with tier 70 weapons, but the less damage you're dealing, the longer it's going to take, and the more damage over time you're going to take. Last but not least, you're going to want the Tokuzu Uncharged Ring, or Charged. The Charged just gives you teleports, so for the fight cave, it's going to be fine. Then, of course, you're going to want to have a bag filled with food. You're not necessarily going to need all your food. Ideally, you want to heal as much as possible. So ideally, you want to be using the Vampirism Aura. You're going to be wanting to use the Enhanced Excalibur, ideally augmented. And you're going to want a melee weapon for the deal waves. And some prayer renewals, some super restores, and overloads. If you don't have overloads, don't worry too much, because you can use the super prayers. You can use the grand defense potions and whatever with your level. So we'll get right into it in just a second. And of course, you're going to want basically the best that you can put on. If you have overloads, this is going to be super easy. It's not that difficult at all. So let's go and get into the fight. Now, you don't need a familiar if you can tank a lot of the damage. However, for the lower level guys, you are going to need at least a bob for extra food, especially if you're learning this for the first time, as you're going to be taking a pretty hefty amount of damage, especially when you mess up the double jab wave and you end up taking loads and loads of damage. So first things first, you're going to want to stand in this safe spot. This is probably one of the easiest ways to do this, and we're going to do the slow way because I can do it the fast way. But for all you newbies that are still trying to learn, you're not going to be able to just run in, kill everything, and hope you survive. It's just not going to work out that way. Now you can use some overloads to just blitz through the beginning of these levels, and it will just make the beginning so much more faster and a bit more time efficient. One of the key things you're going to want to do is turn auto retaliate off, because if you have it on, it's going to kill you, and there's sort of like no way about it. If you spawn on a double Jad wave, and Jad starts attacking you straight away. You can use a crystal of invulnerability, but with the auto retaliate, the likelihood is you'll run out from behind your safe spot on the double Jad wave and you'll die. Not just that, there's also other levels, other waves, where you can be stood in your safe spot and then all of a sudden, bang, you auto retaliate and then you get hit by a cluster of enemies. So you're going to want to pick up the invulnerability crystals and the restoration crystals. The rest are useless, don't pick them up. You can, however, pick up the ones specific to your level, and this is more so if you're using overloads because of the huge buff and the length of time that it resets. So once you activate the crystal, although you might lose defense, every time your overload resets each minute, then it will reset your defense level back to what it was, and you won't lose the defense as much. The better thing to do is activate the crystal and then drink your overload, and that will counter the defense buff. Of course, you can also use Sara Brews to boost your defense at the loss of attack. So wave 5 is going to be your first deal wave, and I'll show you the best way to deal with the deals. You do not want to be praying for the deals. If you do, they can activate their special attack a lot more often, and subsequently taking more damage and using more food. Now, I recommend I'm just trying to do this a little bit faster instead of waiting for these dudes to walk over. But what I recommend is, like I did at the beginning, is standing in the safe spot and then simply waiting for the two dudes to walk over and then attacking both of them, killing them, and then kill the dudes behind, and then finally kill the dude at the other end of the safe zone. Now, you've got a few methods here at the beginning without having to go overly complicated. So if you're taking little bits of damage, you can either use Soul Split periodically to heal yourself, or you can use your Enhanced Excalibur, which will also heal you for a short period of time. And then simply just run back to your safe spot. It is really, really that easy. Kind of wish I banked these extra bits of fish, but it's cool because we're going to use those bits of fish and we're going to tank all of these dudes, so I don't feel like I've lost anything here. Anyways. Here's the. Okay. Okay, right. So, as I said, you just want to stand in this safe spot. Round 5 is going to be your first deal wave, so we'll get to that in a second. So here we are. So as I said, usually just want to wait for this dude to walk over. Usually there'll be 2 dudes. And you'll continue this to about wave 10. So we're just going as we go. I'm actually going to use some more of these overloads. Usually I bring a lot more overloads. But I'm just showing how beginners should do it. Ideally you want to conserve your overloads for the end. Have the food in case you need to heal. Whereas the higher levels can just take like 4 overloads, just power through it, tank a lot of the damage, and heal continuously throughout the entire fight. Usually I'd take maybe like this row of fish here, and the rest will be super restores and prayer renewals, just because I don't have like any mixes yet. I've not unlocked anything, so now you've got 2 ways you can kill these deals. So you're gonna have to use this or a pickaxe. If you don't have a pickaxe on the tool belt, you'll have to use just a pickaxe. Once it's broken, just literally switch back to your magic and just kill it very quickly. It's that easy. They can deal you a hell of a lot of damage, so it's highly advised that you. Now I'm going to use these crystals for the extra damage, just so I can get through the waves just that little bit faster, and try and save a little bit of time. But I'm still going to use the method that you would usually use if you're doing this on the slow mode and you're trying to learn this for the first time. Now, of course, with the increased damage, you're also going to get the increased healing, but you're also taking more damage than you normally would. So you should still be careful when using these crystals unless you have the correct setup, i.e. Sara Brews, or using your overloads before using the crystals, because as you can see here, I have a lot of decreased stats and I have 49 defense. As you can see, the damage increase is quite significant, okay? I actually don't think overloads have a huge impact on this. So yeah, you know, it's a risk you have to take. However, if you're using Soul Split as well, like you would be if you were fast racing this, you wouldn't need to worry because the extra damage that you're dealing adds to healing, and it kind of balances out. You're not really losing any health, and you're not really, you know, losing too much by doing that. Of course, if you're worried, you can use your Enhanced Excalibur, and that just adds to your healing rate. You just want to heal, heal, heal as much as possible, hence why you want the Blood Fury Amulet. If you're using the Blood Fury Amulet, you're going to want to be using this method where you sit in the safe spot here and try to take as little damage as possible. So after wave 10, that's when things start to get a little bit interesting. Now, I would still advise you using the safe spot after wave 10 until basically the floor falls out from underneath you. So yeah, I'm just standing here waiting, and it does consume a lot of time just standing here waiting. If I'm honest, so ideally, on the quick mode, you would just come out and tank the monsters straight away using Soul Split and you know your auras. With melee, you can use the Vampirism Scrimshaw, and this is also going to add a lot of healing. Melee is probably one of the best methods for healing, and which is why a lot of people use it for bossing, because you can just continuously heal all the time. Now the monsters are going to scale to level 400, 200 for the fight cave, I believe. And they will become progressively more difficult to kill. Now they can be poisoned, hence why I'm using a Nox Staff. If you're using tier 90 armor, you can use Cinderblanes. Cinderbanes are really good because they also add to the DPS, and you can also use Weapon Poison plus for just that tiny added bit of DPS. You can do it without. You can just use the Obsidian armor, and the Obsidian armor is pretty efficient for just level 60 armor. So yeah, what you want to do is completely just keep standing here. Ideally, you want to stand as close to this corner as possible, because the further you are back, the more likely you are to be hit before they walk over. Oh, that's stupid. Ugh, misclick. So we're coming up to our first stage where we lose a tiny bit of our little fight arena where the lava is. After this bit, you cannot leave unless you have a teleport spell. So basically, unless you bring a teleport, you're going to die in here. If you've not set up right, if you panic on the double Jad wave or on any Jad wave, then you're also probably going to die and you won't be able to teleport out. Of course, the more stuff you bring, the more bag space you're going to use up. And when I say this, you need food for the final wave. If you're doing this for the first time, you're going to get hit a lot, you're going to take a lot of damage. So it's kind of vital that you try to save as much food as possible. Now these restoration crystals will come in handy as well for the final fight, especially if you manage to keep hold of them. You could also use more food on the final fight and save and use the crystals instead. What I try to do is periodically use Soul Split. So you can see I brought plenty of super restores and prayer renewals, so I can keep my prayer topped up and keep my healing up every time I need it. Now this also helps if you use your overloads. I should have brought a few extra overloads, so I'm going to have to save the last overload for the boss fight and just kind of hope I can get through these as fast as possible. Now the good thing about doing it this way is you're not going to get tanked constantly, and you can actually heal between each wave, which is slightly handy. Now this is going to be your first Jad wave on wave 10. Now you want to set up your keybinds, so mine is F for Soul Split, then Z and X for my prayer switch, and C for food. You're going to want them as closely together as possible, because if you screw this up and you get hit by a huge hit by Jad, or you're tanking other monsters because you haven't stood in a safe spot correctly, you are going to want to be able to heal without going, oh no, I need to click my food, I need to click my food. You just want to be able to hit one keybind and go, ah, okay, I've still got health left. Now if you get this right, you should be able to kill Jad without taking any damage whatsoever. And deflect curses are very good for this because it adds DPS to the Jads and it makes them slightly faster to kill. If you don't, you can just use normal protections prayers from the normal prayer book, and you shouldn't have to use these, but it makes it faster if you do use them. So after this round is when we're going to be moving to the next spot, and there'll be a nice little cutscene. You can turn the cutscenes off, but you know, I thought I'd just go through it as it goes through it, you know. So here we go, wave 11. So you can still use this safe spot down here, even though it does spawn you to the center. So I would advise using this safe spot. This seems to be the better one up until about wave 20. I think it's 20 when it gets even smaller. So now you're going to have a lot of mages, and there's going to be melee rounds and ranger rounds, and we're just going to go through them step by step. Now you shouldn't take a lot of damage from the ones that are either magic or melee, especially with a mage setup. Depending on your combat style is going to depend which ones weaken you more. And it's highly advised if you're trying to do melee that you don't just melee through the whole match. I would advise that you melee only on the rangers and on the melees, and then bring a weapon switch for the mages. So every time you finish a round, you want to go back to the safe spot, keeping an eye out. Now these constitution crystals are just absolutely fucking rubbish and absolutely fucking pointless. Do not, and I repeat, do not pick up the constitution crystals. You might think, oh yeah, I can use a constitution crystal, then a restoration crystal, and then fill my HP up. No, don't do it. Because on the deal wave, deals will deal more damage if your constitution is higher. So the more hit points you have, the more damage you're going to take, and you're going to die twice as fast. Really, the constitution crystals now are just a oh, let's make them think that this is useful, and then they can kill themselves by accident. Just don't bother. Pretty much invulnerability crystals and restoration crystals are all you're going to need. On the double Jad wave, you can hit an invulnerability crystal, and then if you're stood in the wrong place, you don't take any damage from the Jad, and you should be alright. So as you can see, I'm getting through these waves fairly quickly, and I could get through them a lot faster if I wasn't waiting for my enemies. So you can see each round I'm wasting maybe 4, 5, 6 seconds, maybe slightly more than that. Feels like 10 seconds. Just for my enemy to walk over so I can safe spot him without getting hit by the rest of my enemies. For me, this is really counterproductive. It just makes this a huge time consumer. You can do them within like 30 minutes, do all the waves and do the boss fight. Oh, invulnerability crystal, we're going to need that. Now, you shouldn't need all your crystals, if I'm honest. 3 is more than enough, and you know, I can't really see you needing more than 3 crystals. I really don't. As you can see, I'm sort of just like killing these as fast as I can, using onslaught when I can, healing with soul split when I need to. You shouldn't have to run if you've got high stats. You shouldn't have to run with soul split throughout the entire match if you're using the safe spot method to learn. However, if you are looking on doing the fast method, you're going to need to use soul split throughout the entire ordeal, and you will need a beast of burden, just because soul split eats your prayer points, and you're constantly going to be filling up your prayer, making sure that it's ready, because on the Jad waves you want to be able to prayer switch without running out of prayer. If you run out of prayer and you're not with it and you're not paying attention, you're going to die. Now, there's a reason why I have turned off my thresholds, and you can do this during or after and use them later on, but there is a reason for this, and the reason I'll explain at the end. Now, if you're using mobile, which is why I've left them off, you want to leave your thresholds off, and the reason this being is because every time you use a threshold automatically, you lose adrenaline, but we'll get more to that later. Now, it is advised if you're using the safe spot method, you have an aura reset, as using the safe spot method, it can take over an hour, and this is kind of what I meant by it can be quite time consuming. Whereas I would normally use the faster method and use more overloads and just get through it a lot faster. As I said, you shouldn't need all the crystals, and I'll explain why you shouldn't need them. However, the lower your levels, the more of them you will need for sure. I would say you only really need 2 invulnerability crystals, and you can get away without the restoration crystals. However, if you're a lower level, I would highly advise taking all 3 restoration crystals and all 3 vulnerability crystals. Now, my reason being for this is because the double jab wave can be quite tricky, especially if you don't know where to stand. This could lead to you just in the moment of making a mistake, and even after completing this kill many times for the Onyx reward, on the odd occasion I still make the odd mistake and I go, oh shit, I'm taking damage, use an invulnerability crystal, get into the safe spot correctly, and then carry on from there. Now there will be another Jad wave soon, and there's usually 1 per every 10 levels until you hit level 30. On level 30 there are going to be 3 Jad waves. 2 Jad waves will be singular, and then there will be a double Jad wave. The double Jad wave will be at round 36. And then the boss wave will be at round 37. Now, you can't really count the boss wave as a round or a wave, simply because it's not. You just have to go through the waves to get to the boss fight. Now, the boss fight can be quite profitable, especially if you can get through the waves quickly and using a high tier armor. you can make up to 9 mil per hour, and that's pretty good going. I mean, there's a lot faster methods by doing bossing, but if you're using the invention skill, which I'm currently ranking up, you can turn an onyx into an alch onyx, and they are profitable, very profitable, around 80 mil a rock. So, you know, actually getting some of these and storing them in the bank could yield a huge profit later on, especially once you can make them. Yeah, so even the extra damage crystals aren't really worth it. The reason why that is because the amount of damage you take is just stupendous, and it makes it just that little bit more to tank. It does increase your kill rate time by a lot, especially if you're not using a weapon switch. So if you just come in here with a magic setup, that's fine. But if you're going to come in here with a switch, you're going to want a cape switch, a helm switch if you're using obsidian, or a full armor switch. Now, I think it's either 19 or wave 20. There is going to be another Jad wave, but we'll see in a second how many enemies spawn. So it's going to be the next wave, and I'm pretty certain it's the next wave. They seem to come in tens up until like wave 30. And I can't stress enough how important it is just to keep an eye on your prayer points. There's so many times when I've nearly died because I've not kept an eye on my prayer, and it's really easy to do. There are a number of different setups that you can use for this. So you can use Elite Serenic. You can also use Virtus armor, but it's going to be not as easy. You're going to take more damage. Your best bet is just to use Obsidian, because the higher tier armors are going to cost more to repair, and that will lose your profit per hour. However, you can get the damage buffs then, and especially if you're using power armor. You know, it's all personal preference really, but I wouldn't advise using anything under tier 90 or Obsidian. Sorry, tier 90 or anything but Obsidian. So we're going to be coming up to a double jad wave now. So this is what the super restores are for, just so you can fill to the brim your prayer points and not have to worry so much. And also I believe there's a deal on this wave as well, and you'll find a couple as you go out through this. Now ideally it's going to be much easier if you set it up so when you equip a melee weapon, your abilities bar changes when you switch it. So yeah, don't want to hang around here. You just want to get straight back to your safe spot and stand here. And then in a few moments, Jad should spawn. So here is your next Jad wave. Now, using your keybinds, you want to pray and then flick to his attack. So if you've done Jads before or you're a bit inexperienced at Jads, really easy here. So as he stomps on the ground, you want to pray range, and then when he stands up on his legs, you want to pray mage. Now sometimes you can go, oh, he's going to pray mage, and he actually doesn't go all the way up and then bangs back down on the floor. Now you can get away, you can switch, you can go, oh no, I'm ranged, switch back, and it's fine. As long as you do it before you get hit. Oh shit. And that's how easy it is. Not paying attention, and bang, you take a 4k hit. It's really easy to be killed by the double jads, I'm not gonna lie. 2 hits and you're dead. As simple as that. And that's where those invulnerability crystals really come in handy. So now we are going to lose our safest safe spot within this cave. When I mean our safest safe spot, I mean our safest safe spot. So this is really where attention to detail really becomes important. So where you want to stand is on the north side of this rock and on the east side. So you want to be stood here. And you want to be stood here for most of the fight. So first off, you're going to have these melee guys, and there's a really cool trick to this. So you stand on the far wall, let all the melee guys come over, let them all come over, and by doing it this way, you can get away with not having to be hit by them. Now this is very handy if you're doing this with range, because obviously range is weak to melee. Then simply just come stand behind this wall, and if you do it fast enough, they'll all get stuck behind. Then you can just simply, from your safe spot, kill them all one by one by one. So after you've killed them, you want to run back over to your safe spot on the northeast side of the wall. So you're going to have another melee wave. Now you can do exactly the same again. So if you stand all the way over here, all the melee guys are going to come to you. And then as they come to you, move east and then come and stand behind this wall. Make sure they come all the way over, because as you climb around the wall, sometimes they can walk around and then start dealing damage. This isn't so much a problem if you're a mage or a melee, but if you're ranged, you definitely want to use this method because it will save you having to heal a lot. Of course, if you're doing the fast method, don't bother with it, just tank them all and kill them off. And then once you've finished killing them, run back over to your safe spot on the northeast side of the wall. Now once again, once all the melee guys spawn, come stand over here, but not before the wall. Wait for all the melee guys to come up to you, then walk towards the corner and down the side and back behind the rock. Make sure all of them are behind the wall. So you might have on occasion the odd one leak. So for instance, this one's walking around the side. So just kill him off first and then go straight back to the other dudes. And this will just save you taking a lot of damage. Especially these ones here. These ones can deal a very high amount of damage, especially if you're ranged. Then each time move back over to your safe spot on the northeast side of the wall. This is where you want to be. And throughout most of this fight, as a matter of fact. So now what I'm going to do is stand here. As you can see, I'm only getting hit by one of the melees and the ranger. So I move 2 spaces over, and I do this after they've got stuck on this rock. If you do it before, melee guy will walk around and then start attacking you. So it's imperative that you make sure that they walk up to the rock first, especially if you're doing this for the first time. You want to take as little damage as possible. Now once that's happened, you have 2 options here. You can either kill this melee dude off or walk around and block him back on this rock. Now I'm just going to tank them, and it's quite easy. Once you have them in the safe spot, you're going to tank them one at a time, going from one side to the other without getting hit at all. And this makes it a good stopping point to just really heal back up, and you can get right to max health, like right to max health really quickly. So you want to go straight back to the northeast corner. Now the northeast corner is the better spot. If you stand on the northeast corner on the double jad wave, you should be safe. So now on this one, you wait till all the melees get stuck. Now walk up the path. When I say the path, you have to imagine there's a visible path between you and the rock. And then attack the melees, the rangers. Now this is going to be very important, especially if you're using magic. And there will be a ranged wave. And then, as I said before, you want to go to the northeast corner. Now, I'm going to use all 3 vulnerability crystals, and I'm going to show you how easy these crystals can be. Or how easy these crystals can be, how useful these crystals can be if you want to take minimum food. So now we have a magic and a ranger wave. So always kill whichever one is dealing you the most damage. So for me, it's going to be the ranger. I'm going to place soul split on, increase my prayer points, and quickly kill them while healing a bit of damage. Then I want to kill the mage, because regardless of where I'm stood, he can continue hitting me, adding damage over time. Now, if you're using range, then it's not going to matter which way you do this. But if you're using magic, it is important, as magic doesn't damage range that badly, and range vs range will damage you, but still not that badly. So I wouldn't say it matters that much. If you're really fussy about time records, then I would advise doing the ranged one first if you're ranged, and doing the magic one after. And then straight away back to the northeast corner. Now, I'm fairly certain this should be the Ranger wave. I may be incorrect here, but we can always find out once we get to it. So this is the Ranger wave, not quite. So this wave we've got a lot of melee guys, a bit like before. So just wait for all the melee guys to come over. It may mean tanking a little bit of health. Kill the one that's going to do you the most damage, reducing how much damage you take. Now, unfortunately, I've had one dude leak out. Just continue to soul split basically and take the hits. Don't go, oh no, I'm being hit by another dude, I must kill him first. No, he's dealing me the least amount of damage, so I'm killing the two that will deal me the most amount of damage. Now, I'm pretty sure it's the next wave, or wave 29, is going to be the Dill wave. Now, the Dill wave is probably the one and most annoying levels for beginners, because they can deal you a huge amount of damage and you can eat a lot of food and go, uh-oh, I don't have enough food for the boss fight. One of the ways to counter this is you can use an invulnerability crystal, just one, and then tank all of them and just strip them down and kill them off really fast. So back to the northeast corner here. I will take the restoration crystal. Awesome. So here we are on the Dill wave. So you do not want to pred during this period. You want to attack this dude right here, and attack this dude right here. Come on, break his armor. And then switch to mage if you want to kill them as fast as possible. If not, use your best combat style to suit the damage output. Now we want to kill this dude and try and heal as much as possible so you have full health for when you fight the other Dills. Now usually after a moment or so they will just walk off. However, that's not happened in my case this time, so I'm just going to stand here, wait till this dude is dead so I'm taking less damage over time. I'm going to pop my final of my first overload, and hopefully we can kill these Dills rather rapidly. Now I can't stress this enough, do not protect prey when you fight the Dills, they will deal you a lot more damage. The moment they are broken apart, tank them all and kill them all as fast as possible. If you bring Enhanced Excalibur, this will help you to save you eating so much food. They can really deal you a huge amount of damage. And as you can see, my health dropped rather quickly there. So you want to stand back on the northeast side. I really wish people would stop phoning me, that's annoying. Bugger off, I'm busy. Right, so once again here, this is a melee wave. Now, you've got two options here. You can either kill the two melees here and then do the rest, or you can walk up to the corner, trap them all in this corner, and then stand in the safe spot. Got a little bit of lag going on here, but we're okay. No, bad character. Where is all this lag coming from? But we seem to be running a bit smoother now. Oh, fuck me! Right, now you want to stand back on the northeast corner. Now, this is going to be the Jad wave. Make sure you top up your prayer. Oh no, it's not a Jad wave. Okay, never mind. So we've got more melee dudes here, so I'm just going to soul split them quickly and get it over and done with. Why is there so much lag? Just play some tasks. Hopefully that does the trick now. Getting a little pissy. If not, I might hop world. Oh, so it was a Jad wave. So yeah. You want to stand in this safe spot. I'm just going to have to stand here for now until the lag stops. I mean, I'm not quite sure what's happened here. But just very, very suddenly everything's gone laggy. Obviously, I don't want to be lagging when I'm fighting a double Jad wave because that could be catastrophic. Right, we're going to try and go. No, it's just too laggy. I'm going to try and hop worlds and hope and pray that solves my issue. It may just be that the ping went up in the world. But like that, it's not doable. So we're just going to wait here and hope for the best. Okay, so that's much better. So yeah, you want to stand on the northeast corner, and it's a bit of a shame that we have to do this again. So you can soul split these. Just keep an eye on your prayer points though, because you don't want to go into the Jad and then not have enough prayer points and run out. That's going to be really, really shitty. And we're back to lagging again. Motherfucker! Fuck yourself, you little cunt. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Right. Let's hope we can do this and not die. This is super fucking sketchy right now. Come on, kill the Jad, kill the Jad, kill the fucking Jad. That's really weird because we pretty much gone through the whole fucking thing with no lag whatsoever. And it gets to a Jad wave, and RuneScape's like, no, fuck you, you're not doing the Jad wave, you're gonna die. And then there's me who just goes, well, fuck it, I'll do my best. And survived. Okay, so this is where it's going to get extraordinarily more difficult. You want to make sure you're stood on the northeast side. Whoa, and that's kind of important that you stand on the northeast side. So, right now, this is the Ranger wave. So, start split on, walk all the way up as far away as possible, and then start killing these Rangers, trapping the two at the bottom. Now, you can see, even with that huge clusterfuck of lag that I ended up experiencing, I still managed to get through fairly easy without consuming any food. I could have used an invulnerability crystal and used 2 of them and just fucked him up really bad without any prayer whatsoever. What's the point, right? Risk it for a chocolate biscuit. So this is where it's going to become exceedingly more difficult, because now we are going to have 3 Jad waves and 1 double Jad wave, and I believe it's after this next wave. It might be a couple of waves actually. I'm unsure, but I'm pretty sure it's the last 3 waves of this fight kiln. So you're always going to want to stand in this northeast section of this wall, apart from on 1 wave, but I'll show you a way so you can keep using the same spot over and over again without taking any damage, or limited damage. Okay, northeast corner, and here will come, I believe, the first of many difficult challenges. No, I'm joking. So we've got the mage level, and then I'm pretty sure after this one will be the first Jad wave. Yeah, the next one will be the first Jad wave, and that is when it's going to get exceedingly more difficult for me, especially if my lag keeps persisting. It's just going to turn it into a huge fucking nightmare. So my vampirism war has run out, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kill these 2 dudes. Just die already. And I'm just going to reset my aura quickly, and that will actually help me heal a lot more. And Soul Split will seem a bit more efficient. Cool. Alright, let's get back to this. Now, for you mobile users, you're coming up to see why this is why you're going to turn your threshold off. And it is very, very important that you do, because you need to be able to store a ton of adrenaline like I'm doing right now. Instead of my thresholds gradually using up some of that adrenaline, it will just go straight to full. And the reason why we're going to do that is because to deal a huge deal of damage on the boss wave, and I mean a huge deal of damage, we will be using Onslaught for this. Now you can use the Shattered Worlds ability and apply stacks at the same time. So this is going to come to your first big Jad wave. Now you want to stand on the northeast corner. And wait for the Jad to spawn, apparently. So here's the Jad. Now hopefully we are in a safe spot. Yes we are. Okay, so now worry about the melee guy. Now I do this every time out of pure instinct to make sure that Jad doesn't start attacking you. So either pit pray, range or magic, and then wait for the wave. Once the wave is good to go, you're alright. Then pray magic, take one step out to the side and attack Jad, making sure that you press switch correctly. Now here you're going to want to stand on the southwest corner, but I'm going to show you what happens when you mess it up and Jad spawns in a place where he can hit you. Now always keep an eye on these crystals. So Jad's attacking me, so first things off, I'm going to pray. Now you've got two options here, okay? You can step out and attack Jad and tank all the damage. This is your first option. Your second option is to use the vulnerability crystal, reducing all your damage and just tank. Now make sure, even though you're not getting any damage right now, you continue to prayer switch. And the reason for this is if the crystal runs out on the last second and the hit comes in after, you're going to take a huge deal of damage. And I mean a huge deal of damage. Now that Jad's dead, you can walk back into a safe spot over here, put Soul Split on, kill the melee guy, and carry on. Now the next wave is going to be the hardest of the two waves, and this is why I emphasize standing on the northeast corner as often as possible. And you will see why. So the next wave is the double jab wave, and I love the double jab wave. It's actually quite easy when you know how to do it, and this whole thing is pretty much using safe spots to avoid damage. You can't do this wave any other way than using this safe spot. So you want to stand on the northeast corner. Then you're going to wait for both the jads to spawn and both of them to get stuck on this rock. If you stand on the opposite side, both jads can attack you. So now when both jads are stuck, take one step back, 2 steps back if you wish, and then take 1 step out to the side. Kill this jad first. Keep prayer switching and keep prayer switching. If you go to the other jad first, both of them can hit you, and you can, well, you just will die. There's just no way around it. You will die. If one jad is doing ranged and one jad is doing magic, you just simply cannot block them. You're going to get dealt 4k hits consecutively and you're going to die. Now once that jad's out of the way, you can simply step over here and start killing this jad, and you can see I made a mistake there and I took a huge hit, but it's okay. We can just carry on, not making any more mistakes. Now you can go, oh no, I went mage, change back. Oh no, I ran out of prep points. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Oh dear. And that's why I say check prayer, check prayer, check prayer. Because seriously, that could have just killed me if I wasn't paying more attention. But yes, I can go say, for instance, range, mage range, and as long as you change it back before it's too late, it doesn't matter. It takes time for the hit to hit you, so if you accidentally go range, don't panic, just press your magic keybind and you'll be fine. So that is it for the double jad wave. Now we are coming to the boss fight, and this is going to be the hardest part of the fight, kiln. I'm not joking, it is the hardest part. I'm going to walk you by step the easiest method on this fight. So you're going to want to be avoiding a lot of damage, and you're either going to want to pray magic or you're going to want to use soul split. This is where I was saving my last overload for, so I'm going to use soul split. Now the reason why you wanted to turn your thresholds off is you want maximum adrenaline for when his head pops out of the lava. You want to attack these tentacles, building up your adrenaline as much as possible before his head comes out. Now if you're wanting to save spot, I would advise turning on protect from magic, killing the tentacles that attack you to the nearest, and standing in the far corner, as far as you can into the corner, avoiding damage. Do not stand in the middle, and there's a reason for this. So you want to attack him, use Enhanced Excalibur, and then use Onslaught. This will allow Excalibur to heal me while Onslaught takes my health down, allowing me to deal up to 30,000 damage in one go. Now you will have to turn it off after a point, because after 20 ticks of damage it will start to take your health down by 1k per hit. So as you can see, I nearly knocked him down by half health, and that's just on the first go. So Onslaught is an amazing ability and is totally worth the money. It's a bit useless if you don't have Enhanced Excalibur, because you can't really heal and use Onslaught at the same time. If you eat food while using Onslaught, it cancels Onslaught totally off. I'm actually going to try and do this with no food to show you how easy it can actually be done. Now, while you're waiting for Onslaught to rekink, if you have Shattered Worlds, I advise you just casting a Storm Shard. You should be able to get just enough stacks after using Onslaught twice that you can almost finish him off. Sometimes actually finishing him off. So as you can see, he's gone back into the water. So I'm going to stand in this far corner to reduce some of my damage. And I'm going to just continue to use Soul Split, checking my potions and making my prayer points in the right place. And just building up my adrenaline again. And we are checking to see where the head comes out of the water. Out of the lava. It's quite important actually. Oh no, I'm not healing. Now usually you will have to eat a couple of pieces of food, especially if you're using Onslaught. Now what I'll do here is I'll use a Shattered Worlds ability, and I'm still waiting for the Augmented Excalibur to be able to be used again. So I'm just going to try and apply as many stacks as I can during this second part of the fight. Now hopefully by the time his head comes up again, I'll be able to use Onslaught along with Excalibur, being able to heal a lot of damage. Deal a lot of damage. Now as this fight goes on, it is going to get increasingly harder, and there is going to be more and more tentacles as you go. So as you can see, I have a lot more tentacles than I did on the starting round. If you want to protect yourself without having to constantly eat food, kill 2 tentacles and stand in the corner. However, you're going to lose adrenaline, and it's going to actually prolong the fight. So he spawned, so I'm going to run over, I'm going to shard him again. So far I now have 2 stacks. You won't always... Oh, 3 stacks, awesome. If you can get up to 4 stacks, that's perfect. And on the next wave, hopefully, we should be able to use our enhanced Excalibur, and we should be able to kill him in 2 hits. I'm actually going to shard him one more time, and then go back and attack the tentacles. Oh dear. Now my reasoning for this is I'm going to do an impressive 2-hit kill and just zip 50,000 damage like that. So now I can use Excalibur. I'm going to show you how to just quickly, and I mean quickly, rinse this boss off. Now you can also use other ultimate abilities, but personally these are my 2 favorites. So now we're going to attack here, we're going to use Onslaught, we're going to activate Enhanced Excalibur, not eating any food, we're going to knock him down as far as we can go, then we're going to switch ability, heal some food, and hopefully we can add our stack. We should be able to finish my... Oh, he dived just before I could activate my ability. That's a shame. So we want to come stand in this far corner now, and we see there's a lot of tentacles, and I'm getting hit quite a lot. My overloads have also run out, so always try to keep an eye on your potions, because this is something that can get you killed. So now we're going to finish them off. We have 2 stacks here, so I'm just going to try and add one more shard and then kill him off with 1 ginormous hit. Oh, so close. 6,000 damage. Okay, we can do this. We can do this. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Woo! Alright. And it is as easy as that, guys. It really is not hard. Obviously, your stats are going to matter. The higher your stats are, the easier it is going to be. And at the end of the fight, you're going to get 2 options. You can either grab a fight kiln cape of your respective class. And what I mean is, if you do mostly magic damage during this, it's going to offer you the magic fight kiln cape. Or an onyx. The onyx is always offered. If you do equal respective damage, it will offer you all 3 capes, but you can only pick 1. And since I have my fight kiln cape, I'm going to pick an onyx. Excuse me. Where's my fucking onyx? I didn't just do all that for nothing. That's bullshit. Okay, give me my bloody onyx. Yes, I wish to accept the onyx. Goodbye. So there you go, guys. It's as easy as that. Easy as 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Good luck with your fight, kilns, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.